Welcome back. It's another edition of SNG, and it's Saturday as usual, the day after I posted last week's show. We're still on this week, but it's Saturday and we're doing the beginning of this week's show. And I just got through seeing my old friend Gene Haban. He brought his 7-year-old son up here. Gene and I are good friends, been friends for a long time. Met, oh God, like in 2001 at the Sepulveda Basin. He was flying a MiG-29 and I was flying, I don't know, a B-29, and we got to be friends. We've been flying buddies ever since, and I've watched his kids grow up, and it was really cool having him here today. We plan to get together and do some nice flying real soon together, like old times, because he hasn't been flying hardly at all, but I have been, as you well know, and so that was really cool. I also managed to squeeze in some work today, and I'll show you what it is. It's really cool, really. Trust me, it's right this way. Come on, you guys are Monty Python fans. Remember Eric Idle, Meaning Life, doing the French bit? Okay, this is what I've been doing. I've been working on that. Now, what I did was make this completely removable. In other words, I can pull it out and it slides back in. Isn't that cool? So, which I didn't do on mine because I didn't have a hangar bay. But in this one you can see the hangar bay is beginning. And of course it's going to be the forced perspective gag, and you know, it's got the curved walls, but I'm going to do all this structure, light it, put everything in there before I do the ceiling and the ceiling lights. But this all went together really well. I had to thicken this up. I still have some putty work to do on it. But I had to thicken all this up because I remember, because it's been so long since I built one of these, I never made this part thick enough. But it's easy to do by doubling up some styrene just to make sure everything's in the up and up. I wanted to make sure that that fit in there still. There we go. Okay, it's a little over to one side, but you get the idea. Of course, I had to build the back wall. But that begins this whole hangar bay. I think I can get this out again. I sound Canadian. I said out. Well, not easily. So I just pull the whole thing out and pop it out that way. And you can see, you know, the hangar bay is nowhere near as deep as it is. Actually, it's still pretty deep, as in the TV show, but that was the same problem they ran into with the Mobius model, and what they did was a forced perspective gag. I'm not going to do a forced perspective gag. Well, maybe a little bit. But that looks great. Doesn't seem like much, but it was a lot to do. Also, of course, I've been cleaning up all the windows and the slots here for the nacelles to go back into, and everything is looking very tidy and nice and clean, and so I think we're about good to go to actually, once I get this done, do a whole bunch of final assembly on the engineering hull. What I want to do is get the engineering hull all done, get all the wiring going up in here to the saucer section, then do the saucers, and the last thing I'm going to do is, of course, put on the nacelles themselves. So. Well, it's day 4. If you count from Friday, after the first show was finished, Saturday, wasn't here Sunday, but it's here Monday, although it was pre-chocolate day. So this is 5th day? No, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 4th day, and I'm still working on the hangar deck, and what I've done is I've done a little bit of cleaning of that up, which I'm about to sand, and then I'm going to, once that's sanded, paint it primer. This is a version with the doors open until I figure out if I can in fact open these doors or not. I have been round and round about opening these doors up and closing them, and there is no easy way to do it if it can be done at all, which is why you probably haven't seen anybody on the internet doing it, the small one or the big one like this. So if this was 11-footer, it'd be different. I could probably do it. There are some ways to do it, but you got these doors that open about this wide, and then there'd have to be a track down here, a track up here, a couple of servos, or one servo in the back driving when there's no room back there to put anything in. You have a problem with space. You have a problem with alignment. There's so much that can go wrong in a museum model that I don't think this is going to get opening doors. But I haven't given up on it yet. So these doors are the open doors because we have a hangar bay in there. And we'll see later on, after I get the hangar bay finished, if there's a way to do it, I can pop that out and put it in. You'll see. But over here is our hangar bay itself, and this is the superstructure. And I'm about to paint the tan in there because I'm going to start doing the other structures to go over the windows and the back doors and all that kind of stuff. I got to put that color in first. This fits very snugly inside, so coming along good. Okay, so I've been picking at this all day, and this is a temporary fit, and of course I have to fill in those locker areas, they're called, over on the sides there. I have to put the doors back there. I have to put all the structure that goes along the side that are the viewing areas or the viewing corridors. But that's going to be tomorrow. I'm going to put in the viewing corridors and little stations that go up here. And then I'm going to make a decal for the floor that's got all the stuff in there that goes on. But it came out really, really, really neat so far. This is day 6 now, and no, I did not do day 5, and I meant to, but I never got to it, so please accept my most sincere apologies for that. What I've been doing is I've been working on this. Let's go plug this in. We have a lot more to do. This is just a temporary assembly that I have going on here because this whole thing is removable, but you can see what I've got going on in there. I need to do the back wall, the door frames, the cove frames, the coves insets, and the back door there, and those grill things that hang down up there. And right over here are these little observation areas that I will also have to add. So let's get going on that today. Of course, you all know about this. And some of you have said, aren't you worried that these figures in time will curl and bend over? Well, that's actually a very good point. And well, first of all, the paper walls are glued down very well. They are not going to peel or come loose, and so is all the rest of the structure. The only thing we have to worry about are the people. Now, those of you who've already sent your $100 or more, and some of you have sent a great deal more, and I really appreciate that, will get your photographic figure reduced to this tiny little thing. If it's high resolution, in fact, you can still make it out up close that it's you. Christopher is going to be with his bagpipes. You can choose to be in uniform, or you can be in civilian clothes, because they had civilians on the Enterprise, and you can have something like your bagpipes, or you stay with a tricorder, whatever you choose to do, you can have. Now, these will be mounted on styrene and cut out, which is going to be a good trick, but they will not bend over time. So to answer that question, they'll still fast affixed. It's getting pretty messy in here. We are really busy with so many projects, and I'm about ready to do another one of these, as I've talked about before, the Kirk puppet. And keep in mind that these Kirk puppets are for sale. You're seeing the picture right now, the finished one, as are the Leonard Nimoy busts, which are bronze now. We don't paint them to look fleshy. We do them in bronze. They look really great. Also, Cochrane's. Now, this is canon. This is from the actual one that Doug owned, the original that molds are pulled from. So this is not a recreation. This is the real thing, right down to this. This, if you want a Spock head with it instead of a Shatner, is also something that I did. Now, this is not what they had. Now, they had one evidently, but we didn't have that to go with this. So I made Mr. Spock myself. The Cochrane is a molded off of the original Cochrane that was in Scott Bakula's ready room, or quarters. And so it is absolutely not screen used, but cast from the screen used props, as all of these are, with the exception of Leonard Nimoy. Those are all available on our store. And that's what we sell in the store, is what keeps this big old place going. And so we really appreciate your contributions to the Enterprise build, as well as your donations you've been making to SNG, just to help keep our show going and keep the roof over our head. It's so much appreciated. We really love you and we love having you as part of the SNG family. So let's get to work. Well, I just heard from Elliot Brown, and guess what? He's made a PE bridge set, which that is, for those of you who don't know what PE stands for, it's not physical education. It's photo etched brass, which means these are very precise little accurate brass pieces with all the screen holes and button holes punched out, all ready to go, that you fold together and you make this nice bridge. That will go in here, and you'll be able to see it all lit up in there and things blinking as you know me to do. So that's very cool. Thank you, Elliot Brown. Remember our glider. Well, today I just ordered these like a week ago from Hobby King, which basically I think comes from Hong Kong or China. Are metal geared servos, and these are very, very strong, probably way more than I need. You can see that they're metal or brass, and very hardy. And you know what? These were like $5 or $4 something a piece. Unbelievable. I got 2 of them, standard connectors, and these should just fit in our little glider very cleanly, which is upstairs. And as you can see, they just fit. They're going to go back, in fact, on the CG. I could have went with micros, as it turns out, but these will be a lot stronger. I'm going to use a very small li-poly battery too, which will cut down on some of the weight, but they're not very heavy, so I think we're going to be good. I mean, I'm going to be flying this thing where there's high lift, so these are great value from Hobby King. Over here is something I built quite a long time ago and hung out at Smith Brothers so long that somehow this got broken off, but you can see what this is, can't you? If I get it to prop up here just long enough so you take a look at it. Well, you get the idea. This is how we open it, and this is our battery tray, our speed control. You can see the small servos here, and we got one for the tail. So this has to be fixed, glued back on. I might even put a different motor in it, but we're going to fly this, and you're going to see this fly. This was a kit that was, mostly it was a scratch build, but you were given the parts, the laser cut parts and the balsa, and I put it together. And it should fly really good. It's just a hand-launched model. I did the paint job on it. It's very, very cool. Everybody should have their very own personal buzz bomb, I think. V1. That just goes like that, and that closes. Very slick, very nice. And you will be seeing that coming up pretty soon. We have another jet over here that I forgot I even had. This is really micro. Let's see, how do you open this? Man, those magnets are strong. Micro, micro, micro. So we're going to get this up and going too. It has a little fan engine in it. And this one you've seen pictures of flying, but next time we're out at Paramount Ranch, you'll be able to see this actually fly. It's a great flyer. Also got that from Hobby King some time ago. So we're going to go back down here and I'm going to show you some other things that arrived. Commander Max, affectionately known as Commander Max, my friend from way back when I first started the Enterprise, who was great help to me on so many levels. There's the servo. No longer does Electronic Goldmine make these engines, as it turns out, or carry them. And I was really concerned because these are really good motors. You know what these are for? These are for this. These fit the nacelles and drive the cells. Now, I gotta thank Max because he had these and said, well, I'll probably never use them, so he just sent them to us. And for that, he gets to be on the, wherever you want to be, Hangar Bay. It's going to be open to space, but there is a force field. Now, a lot of people mention that, but there is a force field when doors are open, so maybe we'll put you there, Max. So we need a picture of you from head to toe, and if you want to have that sledgehammer, you can. That's a joke between he and I. But he sent me these motors, and these are great little gear motors. I mean, they're really good. These will last forever. They're very high quality, and the gearboxes are great. Max, thank you so much. Commander Max, who is known for his 11.5-foot studio scale size Enterprise he promises he's going to keep working on. Makes mine look like a guppy. Let me show you what I'm doing here, and what I'm doing here is making stuff like this, and so I could make stuff like that. I got the top off so you can see, and everything is temporary right now. Even the placement is just eyeballed, but I have to make this back overhang observation area. And don't worry, Andy, I'm going to have clear windows on these, not frosted, and there will be some light inside, but very light. You know, I mean, you remember that great scene when Captain Kirk has the girl from the planet that's so overpopulated inside the Enterprise. He's standing in here, and these windows are here, and it is lit up. So yes, they would see their own reflection, but they are in fact lit up, and the real set is too, but they're frosted. Everything had that frosted look, and we have nice clean cut windows and clear windows we can see through, of course. So I mean, clear like that. That has, the windows are on there actually. So anyway, so I'm going to cut this out, and I'm going to make it angular and fit it back in there, paint it and everything. Then we got those little stations that go here, which actually attach to the edges of that. We get those in there, and then up here are these grilled things hanging down, and this too, which is this sort of, I'm not sure what it is. There's this piece here too. I'm not sure it's going to show. If I can't see it, it isn't going to go in there. Why? So let's cut this out. So you can see what I'm doing. I built up this whole little framework, and what I'm going to do now is go in with putty and drop on the floor and step on it. No, I do that all the time. Don't you? We're a little off, but you know what? It's to match what's off in here. And of course, what I'm going to do is fill this with some Evercoat so I can really manhandle it and sand it and even it up, which is a good trick, which I'll show you in a minute. And let us not forget that we make Spock ears. Spock ears that are actually made from Leonard Nimoy's ears from the first movie that I sculpted for him. It's the first thing Fred Phillips asked me to do. He plopped down a set of the ears used on the TV show and said, make them just like this. And that's exactly what I did. And these are latex castings from the Masters. The Masters being these. Now, some of you have written to me and been very angry saying that, to stop saying that I have the Master molds. I bought them on eBay for several $1,000s. Well, keep in mind, we had these flexible guys here. And these were made off my sculpture, and these we had so we could make multiple molds from multiple runs of foam, because the molds get baked in an oven and then they break down after a while. So one set of molds, your molds, would not hold us for the entire film shoot. So there are many molds made. So if you own a set of molds, if you bought a pair of molds on eBay from that picture in particular, because I didn't do it for the other pictures, then you don't have the only set of molds, no matter what the seller told you. So, and you can see they are exactly the same as that. Now these can be worn, reused, they have nice thin blender edges, and they're not foam rubber, so they will last considerably longer. And then of course, we have the silicone version, which are in the shadow box, which you're probably seeing a picture of right now, and which you can have just for display if you want. So, and we have also prosthetic Vulcan ears that are not Nimoy's, but are made as prosthetics you can wear just like these if they're made out of silicone as well. So keep that in mind at our store at steveneillsgarage.com. Now what I've done is I've mixed up some of our famous Evercoat metal glaze. This stuff goes off very quickly. It's much easier to sand, much better material than Bondo. Even though it is just a polyester, it's very, very good material to work with, and much easier to work with than Bondo, which gets so hard and so kind of gooey that you can't really sand it right away, and then it's very difficult to sand it. Now you can see what I'm doing here. I am putting it all along the insides here. Now what this does is styrene, even when it's glued together properly with styrene liquid glue, can still break apart on you. You can't really manhandle it. So what I'm doing is reinforcing it from the back side, making it much more like a resin part, being careful to leave flat areas for the windows to go, and it beefs it up. And now I can really get in there and grind away on it and stuff, and take off what I the overlaps and things like that. And it makes it really strong. Did I say it made it real strong? And there you go. That'll harden up here in just a few minutes or less, and that will allow me to then sand it from the outside, made everything really flat and even. There you go. I told you I'd show you that. So here we are. We got a nice little part. It's really strong. It's really beefed up. I was able to put this on the flat sander and shape it exactly the way I wanted to. You notice it's nice and even now. And we're going to paint primer on it, and we're going to add it to the rest of the parts that I've made for windows in the back. So this is how we make. You can see this one's cut out. You know, I took the plans and I made little templates and glued them on. So, and then I'm not blocking. I actually got this set up right. Elliot will be proud of me. And now I will block it if I do that, but you get the idea. I'm going to score this all the way around. Sorry if I block. I can't predict everything, but before I cut it out, I cut out the windows first, which makes it a lot easier to do. And then you can sort of pop them out, see? Just like that, and that's what I'm doing. And that's how I did all those parts that you've seen so far, and I only messed up one of them, believe it or not. You get really good at it. I am wearing a magnifier on my head, which really helps, no matter what age you are, to be able to see at this tiny size. And there we go, right to the edge. You gotta love styrene, because styrene, you just score it like I'm doing right now, and it magically just pops out like that. See? Then you see these little tiny windows right there? Yep, you bet. I'm gonna get those too, like so. Like so. Another cut. Whatever you do, don't force it, or you'll break the edges like I did on this one, which are still usable. So, there. That did break right there, but it easily glued back. This one, I believe, has already been cut. And there you go. I'm out of, yeah, like so. And that gives us both of those frames for both sides. Now, of course, I have to build the parts that go to either side of it. So what I'm doing here is I'm building those little observation posts that overhang right behind the doors, and right where you really can't see them, but they are there, so I want to give a hint of them being there. Now I'm going to build up the walls there and the tops, and basically we have it. And I'm using this. You guys are always asking, what do you use? What do you use? This stuff you can get at the hobby store, especially ones that carries a lot of plastic model kits. And that gives us our nice little observation decks that look out near the end. Now what I'm going to do is let these dry a bit, fill them with some Evercoat metal glaze, and stiffen them up. So here's all the wonderful parts, and I meant to take a picture of this before I, all of it laid out, but here's all the wonderful parts, and before I actually paint underneath there, install them in here, but first I want to add windows, and then I'm going to glue this in. This is this nifty little part here I made, and how I did that was with, it goes here, I did it with styrene. Come on, Steve, bang your head. Styrene, and poured in Evercoat. You can see the color of the stuff, and it's pretty symmetrical. It's not perfect, but you're going to see it from the back. You're going to just start to see it from back there, so it's fine. And just shaped it, and it you know, on the flat sander you can see all the blue stuff, and got what I wanted like right away. I was trying to beat my head. How can I do this really fast? How can I do this really fast? Well, that's how I did it real fast. So these, of course, now actually contour to this edge here, so they'll be able to be glued on as well. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to put in the windows, and I'm going to start gluing parts in. And of course, I've got these openings here I can open up to allow some light in. Hey, look who's here! It's Carl! He's here! And I gotta turn off the music because it won't go with my music. And there it goes. So he came by to visit and help and put his hands in glue that I left there. Yeah, and well, look, there it is. It's almost there. I mean, I've still have to put all the door back here, and I got to put the frames around here, the little alcoves, but most of it's all there. What do you think, Carl?
Looks great, looks great. Movie quality.
Good enough for camera. Yep. That's what movie quality is. Quality. Smart guy. Okay, I really quickly want to throw a little bit of light in there. I know Andrew said don't light it up, but it was lit up in there, but I don't want a lot of light in there, so I'm just going to put in some light in there. Okay, here we go. Okay, Carl. Now, this is just temporary. We don't have all the lights in, the little red lights down below the windows or any of that stuff. We don't have these lit up, but everything's there. I may light up those back windows a bit too. And of course, all the where you see the blue tape and the openings, those are there's a door directly into those 4 windows, but the rest of them are just sort of like alcoves, and we will get to that. But it looks pretty darn neat. What do you think, Carl?
Looks great. Looks great.
Yeah. Thanks for coming today, Carl. Okay, that's gonna do it. For our show this week, right, Carl?
Yep.
So I'm gonna go cut this thing and go home and have some dinner. Don't forget to visit our website. Don't forget, if you want to be involved in this project over here with the hangar bay and all that, the Enterprise build, to go to our website, to go to the tab that says Friends of SNG, and you can donate or contribute there to this build, which will get you on the plaque that will be permanently in the museum. If you pay more than $100 in your contribution, then you are entitled to have a tiny little teeny photographic cutout figure of you put in one of the windows of the Enterprise. This is one of the rooms that's out right now. You can see, I can't see it. There, you can see there's a cutout there, but that's a very low resolution photograph, so you're really not seeing any kind of detail, but you'll get that. And I want to thank everybody who has contributed so far, both monetarily and also, like Commander Max did, by sending us motors, Randy Newbert, who sent us boards and LEDs, Tom Piedmont, who sent us rolls of this tape here, which is how we're lighting up all this stuff, and everyone else who's contributed. Lou Del Maso, whose decals are coming for it. I want to thank everybody from the bottom of our hearts for all these contributions and help on this project. It's going to be a great model when it's done. You guys have a great weekend, and Carl says have a great weekend. Yeah.
Catch you later. Have a great weekend.
You bet. See ya.
And don't forget to donate because of you guys. This project is coming along.
That is very true. This is why this is happening, because you guys love it so much, and so do we. So we'll see you next week.